back to the Beach Bum Bookworm. I am Tiffany. I'm so glad y'all found me again today. My channel is all about cozy mysteries and romance books, and today I'm doing part 2 of our road trip through the United States, one indie bookstore at a time. So these are the best indie bookstores in each state, part 2. Let me know if you visited in any of these, if you plan to take a road trip, anything else that you want to talk about down in the comments is the place to do it. On your way down to comment, don't forget to stop, hit the subscription and the notification bell. Notification bell is going to tell you when I put out new videos each and every single week so you don't miss anything. And the subscription keeps my channel growing. So thank you for that. I've been having so much fun. All right, let's get to it. We're looking at our road trip through the U.S. of the best bookstores, indie bookstores. In 3, 2, 1, go! Starting with number 26, we're at Bozeman, Montana, Country Bookshelf, and it looks adorable. It says, established way back in 1957, the Country Bookshelf has an old-timey feel and knowledgeable staff that frequently earn its accolades. In addition to author events and a book club, the store partners with Bozeman schools and the Bozeman Public Library to help promote literacy with a program known as One Book, One Bozeman. I love that! Love it, love it, love it. That's one of the things I love about these independent bookstores and small bookstores is they just do a lot of things in the community. I love it. All right, number 27, we're heading to Lincoln, Nebraska to Indigo Bridge Books. Functioning as a bookstore and a coffee shop. Smart. Indigo Bridge is a great hangout for any kind of reader. The store has a particularly strong connection to the local community with some of its spaces designed by children. That's pretty awesome. Furthermore, all of the coffee sales are donated back into the community. See what I mean? Job well done, Indigo. I love it. Next up, we're headed to Nevada, Reno. Sundance Books and Music, and I hope I can find some pictures of this place because it looks phenomenal. It really has a awesome look inside. Does anyone get a lot of reading done in the same state as Las Vegas? Apparently so. Sundance has been in business since 1985 and its current location since 2011. Their selection is housed in a converted Victorian mansion. That's why it looks so amazing. That's become a monument to the written word. It also is minutes from the airport. Road trip or air travel, check out Sundance Books and Music. That's pretty awesome. It looked really cool. Number 29, we are in Concord, New Hampshire at Gibson's Bookstore. If you need a little more incentive to log off Amazon and go into a physical bookstore, Gibson's in Concord makes a compelling case. In business since 1898, the store not only houses books and baristas, but also acquired local toy store, Immigration Village, to incorporate educational toys and games. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Next stop, number 30, New Jersey, Montclair. We are going to Montclair Book Center. Fans have mused semi-seriously that being locked in the Montclair Book Center for the rest of their life wouldn't be so bad. I've thought this before too. Not necessarily this particular bookstore because I didn't know of it, but just in a bookstore, yeah. The shop boasts over 10,000 square feet of shelves stocked to the brim with new and used titles, including an impressive collection of vintage sci-fi and history books. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Next up, we're in New Mexico, Santa Fe at Collected Works Bookstore and Coffee House. Relax with a good book and an organic, locally roasted coffee indoors or on the patio at Collected Works in Santa Fe, which boasts over 30,000 titles and plenty of author readings. Fans of the bookshop point to its relaxed, inviting atmosphere and fresh desserts as reasons to linger. Nice. Next up, we're in New York. And this one I was really interested in seeing because there's so many indie bookstores around New York. I was the same way with California. I was like, okay, where do they, who's voting on this and where do they consider the best? Because there's just so many. The one on this list voted the best. I took maybe 3 different websites and melded them together to see which ones had the most collaborative answers. The Strained bookstore in New York, New York. The Strained's multi-story collection of books is plentiful. It bleeds out onto the sidewalk. The brand claims its bookshelves hold 18 miles worth of new, used, and rare books, and you can find multiple storefronts and kiosks throughout the city. Wowzers. Wowzers. All right. Number 33, we're off to North Carolina. We're at Davidson, North Carolina, Main Street Books. There's stiff competition in North Carolina, but Main Street Books is Davidson is one of the finest literary establishments in the state. In business since 1987, the store is actually built out of an old general store and offers a plethora of programs and activities for book lovers. As part of the bookstore's subscription program, the Matchbox, customers can elect to receive a staff-approved book from the store's kids' books, first edition, or paperback titles each month. I love it. Love it. Number 34, we're in Fargo, North Dakota at the best bookstore in North Dakota, Sanbros Variety. In May 1989, brothers Jeff and Greg Dance realized their longtime dream of opening the kind of store where they would want to shop, launching the first location of Sanbros Variety in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. It became so popular, they decided to head north to open a second location in Fargo just a few years later. The Fargo store features a trippy mix of smart and quirky goodies, but books are undoubtedly the main event, with a special section dedicated to local authors and titles that explore the history of the area. That's amazing. Love it. So they have a store in South Dakota and North Dakota. Awesome. Next up, number 35, we're at Loganberry Books in Cleveland, Ohio. Loganberry Books, named after Harriet Logan, has been offering Clevelanders an alternative to big bookstore chains since 1994. Considering that Loganberry boasts over 100,000 new, used, and rare titles, the shop certainly gives mainstream outlets a run for their money. I like it. Oh, they run a service called Stump the Bookseller, which lets customers describe books that they can't recall the title of in hopes that the bibliophiles will be able to fill in the gaps. I love that. That is so awesome. Stump the Bookseller. I approve. Love it. Next up, we're in Stillwater, Oklahoma at Gypsy Snark Books. It says, this little used bookstore and bric-a-brac shop in Stillwater covers pretty much any genre you might want. Get lost in the sci-fi and horror nook, or search through shelves on the presidents, gardening, or local history and authors. Its unusual name reveals its owner's varied interests. Founder Susan Thomas, a retired analyst with the U.S. Forest Service, spent years studying gypsy moths. She has also loved the Lewis Carroll poem, The Hunting of the Snark. Combine the two and you get Gypsy Snark. I like the backstory on the name. Love it. So next up is number 37, and this one was really fun because this is a city that we have heard a lot about. If you read The Bake Shop from Ellie Alexander, it's Ashland, Oregon. The stop, Bloomsbury Books. This says, for nearly 40 years, Bloomsbury Books has worked to make pleasure of reading as pure as possible. It's named for its early 20th century London literary society called the Bloomsbury Group, one in which Virginia Woolf was a central figure, just as she is at this Bloomsbury. Ask the staff for recommendations and relax with your new tome in their cozy on-site coffee shop. Love it! That was really fun to see when I went to look at Oregon. I was like, oh, it's Ashland! I don't know, that was really exciting. Next up, we're in New Hope, Pennsylvania at Farleys Bookshop. It says, located in bustling downtown New Hope, a picturesque enclave nestled on the Delaware River, Farley's has been in business since 1967. The shop has that lived-in feel that makes you kind of nostalgic for the time before Amazon existed, and its friendly staff is full of bibliophiles who seem magically able to figure out what it is you're looking for, even if the only description you can utter is, a true crime book with a black cover by that one guy. I love it. I like the whole, stump the bookstore employee. I think that's fun. I don't know. Number 39, we're in Rhode Island, Providence. Stellar Stories. Stellar Stories prides itself on being the largest used and rare bookstore in the smallest state in the U.S. That was all in quotations. The largest used and rare bookstore in the smallest state in the U.S. There you go. This shop has graduated from the basement location that inspired its name to a Providence store big enough to house over 70,000 volumes. It's a great place to find books related to Rhode Island and New England history, as well as obscure science fiction novels, cookbooks, and vintage paperbacks. Awesome. At number 40 is Blue Bicycle Books. I love the name. This is in Charleston, South Carolina. Don't let the small-ish storefront fool you. Blue Bicycle Books on Charleston's Upper King Street, located just a few blocks from the College of Charleston, takes up a substantial amount of real estate. It goes back 172 feet. It has ample space for as many as 150 people to attend the more than 200 author events that the store hosts each year. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Nice. It hosts writing camps for kids and has an annual Y'all Fest, which attracts more than 12,000 YA fans, not to mention top authors in the genre, to the city each November. I love that. Y'all Fest, but it's YA but it's spelled like y'all. That is hosted each year in November. That is awesome. Next up, we're at Mitzis Books in Rapid City, South Dakota. For more than a decade, Mitzis Books has been offering Rapid City's literati an amazing, well-curated selection of books in a comfy, cozy shop that kind of feels like an extension of your own living room. You'll get no dirty looks here if you decide to plop down in a chair and while away an afternoon reading one of the knowledgeable staff's latest book recommendations. In fact, hanging around is encouraged. I love it. Next up, we're in Nashville, Tennessee at Parnassus Books. It says Parnassus Books is an independent bookstore for independent people and has become an oasis for Nashville book lovers. In 2011, it was opened when Nashville had 0 other bookstores, drawing on best-selling author Ann Patchett's childhood love of smaller scale bookstores. That's awesome. Next up, number 43, we're in Austin, Texas at Book People. The city of Austin, Texas has gone through rapid changes in the last 10 years. While restaurants have gotten more expensive and buildings have gotten taller, some staples of the city remain. The charm of Old Austin can still be found at Book People, a local favorite since 1970. Every bookseller there is extremely well informed. They're never out of stock of the classics, and they're always promoting new and great literature. Some of the biggest authors in recent memory have made their way there through this bookstore for readings and events. Awesome. Oh, the next one looks so cute. We are at our 44th stop in Salt Lake City, Utah at the King's English, and it looks like a little cottage. It's so cute. Anne Berman and Betsy Burton wanted a place to work on their novels when they opened King's English in 1977. They ended up committing themselves fully to the business, and today, King's English is one of the most beloved bookshops in Utah. Though it has attracted some famous fans like author James Patterson, who gave the store a grant to build its children's section. That's so cool. It's still a community business where employees remember your name and your reading preferences. Oh, I love that. Next up, number 45 is Northshire Books in Manchester Center, Vermont. This warm family-owned bookstore has been around since 1976, although it moved across the street to take over the beautiful premises of a historical inn. Ooh, with a great selection, plenty of reading nooks, and a dedicated staff, some of whom have been there for decades, you're sure to find your next favorite read. I love it! Next up, we're at Chop Suey Books in Richmond, Virginia, stop number 46. According to the archive page on its website, Chop Suey Books has its name because its original location was on the former site of George's Chop Suey, whose rusted sign remained on the wall even after the eatery had gone. But the term Chop Suey, which roughly translates to a little bit of this and a little bit of that, also symbolizes the store's eclectic approach, which ranges across subject matter and material. I love it! Next up, we're in Seattle, Washington at Elliott Bay Books. A community mainstay since 1973, even if it still mourns the original historic Pioneer Square location, Elliott Bay Books is the place to find the latest books from established names and rising stars alike. Has a cafe. Oh, love it. All right, number 48. We're in Charleston, West Virginia at Taylor Books. It would be easy to lose track of time and accidentally spend an entire day at Taylor Books. I can totally relate to this. I think all of us can, right? Charleston's one-stop shop for all things artsy. Sure, the brick-walled building is charming, and there are thousands of books to choose from, but those aren't the only draws. Customers can also grab a coffee and scone, lovely made by owner Anne Seville, from the built-in cafe, take a pottery class, stroll through an art gallery, and attend live music festivals on the weekend. Oh, that is awesome. I love that. Wowzers. Okay. Number 49. We're in Wisconsin. We're in Eau Claire. We're at Daughters Books. This independent woman-owned bookstore works hard to curate its selection to focus on women, authors of color, and small publishing presses. One of the ways Daughters stands behind their selections, every book is forward-facing, meaning no books can be hidden away in the corner of the shelf. And if you can't make it into beautiful little shop, its monthly subscription box will mail this month's pick selection, in addition to a new recommendation and a locally designed bookmark. All right, and our last one, of course, is for Wyoming. We're in Rock Springs, Wyoming at Sidekicks Book Bar. I like this name too. This bright, cozy little enclave in downtown Rock Springs has everything you need for a relaxing evening in, with or without your favorite bibliophile friends. Find a book on their floor-to-ceiling wall of titles, tuck into one of many white couches that wind through the shop, and order some wine and charcuterie. Oh my gosh, Sidekicks has partnered with Jackson Hole Winery, so the selection of local wines is well stocked as the booksellers up front. I love it. Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. I hope you've enjoyed this series. I think I'm going to do some best places to find a cool literary fair or book sale or something like that over the summer. We'll see. Something along that line, I'm thinking. Give me a big thumbs up for this video, and until next time, may all your future reads be 5 stars. Bye.